everyone and welcome back to the channel, and we are here to build up to the Norway quarter-final of the Women's World Cup, which is taking place on Thursday evening. I think out of all the draws that have happened and looking at all of the teams that have gone through, I think Norway's probably the nicest one you could have asked for.
If you look at what all the other teams have kind of been drawn against each other, especially France, USA.
Yeah.
I think it's probably one of the nicer fixtures you could have asked for. Definitely think there's no way you can kind of underestimate them because they've been incredible. Not. Obviously, the whole thing about Hegerberg not being with them at the World Cup, I don't actually think. Obviously, she's a world-class player and she's going to make a difference, but they've also been able to handle themselves without her, which I think shows a lot of the quality of players that they have within the squad.
Yeah, well, it's obviously it's not a shocking team to be in the quarterfinal because that wouldn't be fair to say to them because
they're really good.
They've actually performed brilliantly.
The set's falling apart.
Down as we talk. Never mind. They've definitely performed well in the competition so far. A tough group. We're having to play France as well, and then obviously Nigeria, who are not a team to be taken lightly either. But finishing second on 6 points, they'll be more than happy with how their group stages went, really, won't they?
Yeah, I think so. I think France was definitely their hardest game.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, they were unlucky to lose that game because it came down to the VAR decision. And that was obviously when Renard scored that own goal as well. But it came down to circumstances that potentially were out of their hands within a VAR decision, and obviously they missed a penalty and then it gets taken back for another penalty, but then players then encroach the line, and it's everything that we've kind of spoken about in VAR that's been a problem happened during that game with them. But I was watching and I was thinking they play the ball really well. They used the width of the pitch and they used their wide players really well to kind of get to the byline and crossing a ball for their number 9, Herlovsen, who scored quite a few already, some important goals as well. But there's a few players that I'm quite wary of and that I think are really going to excel against us, especially because we play quite high up the pitch. Yeah. They've got quick players in Wright and Herlovsen, Hansen, Graham, and all of those kind of players that are able to kind of get on the ball, move it quickly, string passes in and out of the channels and things like that. So I definitely think we're in for a task. Yeah. And they obviously beat Australia, although it went to penalties. Yeah. But Australia are not an easy side to face. No, exactly. So it's definitely going to be a test. I think this will be the first big test. I think that although Japan in itself was difficult, I think the way that Norway have actually played in this specific tournament is going to be a test to the Lionesses' side.
It's more to play for, isn't it? You've got a chance to go through to the semi-finals of a World Cup, which if you'd have said at the start of the campaign, Norway could potentially be in the semi-finals of the World Cup, you'd be like, nah. Not with the calibre of teams that are on show, with the likes of Brazil, France, Germany, Spain, all them. But just the way the draws worked, obviously USA faced Spain last night. Brazil went out as well, and it's you didn't expect Brazil to go out either. So Norway have got to where they are by being a good team and giving 100% each time they've gone out.
And scoring goals.
Yeah, well, against Australia they had 27 shots. Obviously that's across extra time as well. Only 8 of them were on target, but still 8 shots on target.
You're getting your shots off and you're troubling the keeper.
Exactly, and they're getting themselves in the positions where they can have the shot as well, whether that's inside the area or outside. They're not afraid to have a go from distance either, which is something I don't think a lot of teams don't do it. Our players struggle sometimes. It's only really
we try and play it into the net rather than just having a go.
I think our main player, he loves to have a shot from outside the area, is Georgia Stanway, and she's obviously not a regular starter, but you've seen that when she started against Japan, that she will have a go from outside the area because she did a number of times. So we've got to now focus on that from looking at Norway's perspective of how will they want to play against us in terms of, are they going to go all out attack and give us something to work on, or are they going to be ones to let us come to them and sort of try and get us on the counter type of thing?
I think they'll have looked at how Cameroon played against us. They
Yeah.
played quite attacking, and we say it all the time, but they actually brought the game to England and caused some problems, especially in the wider areas. Like, they dragged the players out. They dragged the England players, especially the right back, left back, and the centre back, whichever side it would have been on. They dragged them out wide, and then crossed the ball in. Although they scored, obviously given offside. That's what Norway, I think, will be looking to do, using players like right and down the wing, and the tall number 9 in the box. Yeah. That's going to be the area that they're going to exploit, and it's gonna be a test to see whether Houghton. I'm pretty sure Steph Houghton's is going to start. Whether it be Houghton, Bright, McManus, you don't know. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it'll be Bright, because I think they're going to want to have. They're going to want that physical game as well, and really Bright on the ball in the air. He's such a strong presence, so I think they're gonna have a lot to deal with. But at the same time, if they can get the ball down and play around this Norway side, I don't see why we shouldn't be making it through to the semis.
Yeah, and I think in terms of our lineup as well, I think it's important that the likes of Paris, I'm tempted to go Mead in for Duggan, but then I don't want to take Tony Duggan out the side either, because she can't offer you so much as well. But I think you've got to go for pace in these type of games. I think that's what you can exploit. But
I think there needs to be a balance of pace and then also the playmaker ability, which Tony Duggan does have. I'm not saying in any way Beth Mead doesn't have that, but Tony Duggan got to a Champions League final this year. She's had an amazing season at Barcelona, and I think she's got that bite about her. She's got something that she needs to prove because of the disappointment of missing out on the title of the Champions League. I think by no means, if you take Duggan out, are you kind of hindered by putting Mead in. That's not the case at all. They both bring different things. Yeah. But I think by having Paris on one side and Duggan on the other side, it's perfect delivery for Ellen White at the top if she's playing. And I agree when you said Georgia Stanway is kind of the only one that takes shots outside the box, but I find Tony does do that sometimes, and she always seems to be in the right position at the right time. Especially in that Cameroon game when we were attacking in their final third, if the ball was coming from the right side, Duggan would be on her own on the left, and she's so good at kind of losing her play and being in that area. And I think it's going to be a game of who can find the gaps and who can break the lines to play the right ball through. And that's why I think Jill Scott's going to be really important to play in this game. Yeah,
well, we'll talk about starting 11s then. I've gone unchanged from the last game. I think that's probably our strongest team.
That's my favourite starting 11.
Yeah, it's a perfect balance of both defence and attack, I think. And like you said, Jill Scott plays that role so well in that she can be that player who you don't expect to venture so far forward, but because she does, she drags one or two opposition players with her because she's so tall and like she can hold the ball up well. It takes two players in order to break her down.
And then it creates more space for everyone else.
Exactly. So like you said, Tony Duggan's often on her own on the left, or Frank Kirby might be in a patch of space. That's because someone like Jill Scott or Kira Walsh has created that bit of space for them because they've got the ball and the opposition players are more focused on winning the ball back rather than marking a player on the edge of the area. Yeah. So if Jill Scott can go forward, create that space for our players and be able to play a pass into Kirby or Duggan or Paris or even White, who's on the edge of the area or inside the area and potentially unmarked or not marked very well, then you're creating a chance and potentially a goal that can get you through to a semi-final. Do you know what I mean?
No, I agree. I don't. In terms of my start 11, I think I probably would bring in Jade Moore for this game and drop out, not for any other reason than that DM role is going to be quite demanding. And I think that Cameroon game will have taken it out on some of the players, not just physically, but also mentally at the same time. not saying they're mentally hindered by it or anything like that, but I just think for Norway, who do have quite a lot of experienced players, you need another quite highly experienced players in order to kind of keep it based. So it might not be right. Phil Neville might just keep Kira Walsh in, and I don't think there's any problem with that. I said that on one of my match reactions, that if you take out Walsh and put in Moore, you're not losing anything, and vice versa.
Yeah.
You don't lose anything because they're both incredible players. But I think for this game, I'd bring in Jade Moore, but I'd pretty much keep everything else the same. Greenwood, I'd stay in for Stoke, to be honest. Greenwood, you can't ask for anything more than your fullback to go and then score a goal, and it was a great goal at the same time.
Yeah.
There is that debate of Duggan and Mead, but I think I'm gonna stick with Tony. I think if she wasn't injured at the start of the competition, she'd have played and she'd have kind of kept that role still. But apart from that, I'd keep White in as well. I think White just brings a lot more for me than Jodie Taylor. Yeah. That's nothing on the slide to Taylor, but I just think she brings a lot more work rate, and just the clinicalness, I think, is what Taylor's missing just at this tournament. So I think I'd keep White. Yeah. And obviously Bardsley as well. I think I'd keep her in. Potentially Telford, but it's one of them.
I think we've got a good squad of players that if you did have to swap 1 or 2 or 3, you wouldn't be nervous by it. Like if you
wouldn't lose anything.
Yeah, if you did see Telford in goal for the game,
you'd be like,
you wouldn't be like, exactly. You'd be like, right, okay, that's fair enough. Same with like if McManus started, she performed well against Argentina, so why not start again? Same with if you're seeing Stanway in for Kirby or something like that. Yeah, like you wouldn't be annoyed or anything.
I think it's important to keep the back four as stable as possible, because especially with this Norway side who are scoring goals, and I think they've scored something like 7 goals in the whole of competition so far. That's come from 4 different players, so they're not just looking for that one person to create the goal or create the chance. It's coming from all across the park. So if you've got a stable back four and then the stable holding midfielder in front of them, and obviously Jill Scott, I think she's going to play as well. Jill Scott and either Moore or Kira Walsh. I think it's important that you kind of look all across the park for Norway, not just the one player who scored or the 2 players that have scored. It can come from any angle. And I think that's what England needs to be wary of and kind of do their research on. Yeah,
definitely. So then, round it off then, got a score prediction?
I'm going to go 3-1 England.
Okay. I'll go 2-0.
Okay, go on then.
Hopefully Bardsley can get that clean sheet in.
Yeah,
I'm sure she can. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. But yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you think any changes will be made to the starting 11, and if you've got a score prediction, let us know below. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Remember to like the video, comment and subscribe. Check out all our other videos that have gone on over the whole of the World Cup. Yeah, we'll try and put a little subscribe thing here. If not, go down below and click subscribe. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.